Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Red Letter, Yellow Letter podcast, a weekly anarchist, voluntarist, agorist variety podcast where we talk about and philosophize the morals and ethics of everything going on in the world today, tomorrow, and in the future, or we just talk shit to each other. I'm your host, Neb, and I'm joined by my lovely, lovely, lovely co-host and fellow anarchist, Harley. Harley, how are you today?
Do I have to punch government in the dick or can I do something else?
You can do something else if you like.
Okay, can I just like jam a toya right up its rectum? Can I do that today?
It doesn't have the same ring as
It doesn't have
punching
the
dick
same
or
ring.
twisting nipple. You see that you see, twisting
It doesn't have
nipples
the
and
same
punching
ring,
dick.
but if you see, I'm sure you're not super familiar with choya, but they are like the worst thing to exist. Like there's videos everywhere about how absolutely like despicable they are. Like I don't know if that was the day Satan was like, or like he got his turn to design shit, or God was just having a bad day, or what. But like they are one of the worst things imaginable, and good luck getting them out of you if you
Mhm.
have one on you anywhere. Like, yeah. So for those who know, they know.
Yeah.
I say
No,
saguaro just because we have them everywhere here and they're massive, but choya are arguably much worse.
okay.
Much worse.
I think I mean that it's is that going to sell on a mug as well as punching government in the dick though? That's the question.
Maybe for Arizona people. I don't know.
Because your merch has been doing really well recently, hasn't it?
Yeah, mostly the wood chipper shirts though. Like
Yeah.
I've sold a couple other designs, but only like one of each. But the wood chipper ones, yeah, those have been pretty damn popular.
Yeah, the wood chipper ones have been selling like hotcakes, haven't they?
Thank goodness, yeah. I made up a new one last night and it's got Mothman on it. I'll go ahead and just like stand up
Stand
for
up,
those
give
who
us
are
a
actually watching the YouTube though. I don't know if you still can see
No, no,
it.
no.
No, I
We
still
need to
can't
go.
see
You
it.
need to go up a bit. All we saw was the Mothman. I
I
didn't
can't
see that.
go up. I know what I'm saying. I can't aim it anymore.
Well,
There we
just
go.
step back.
I can't step back. There's a rat cage behind me.
Ah, yes, of course, yes. There are
I
little
can't step back. There's no room.
the little
But
blighters will eat you, won't they?
oh gosh, yeah, they get rude, huh? Are you guys rude? Yes, you are. You're so cute though. But yeah, no, basically, yeah, it's got Mothman on it, and it says Mothman is real and he doesn't pay taxes. I don't know. I was
Yeah,
just
there's
making shit last night. I don't know.
yeah. Neither does John McAfee, but he's been indicted and he's being extradited. So poor John McAfee.
No, I'm just saying. Have we ever seen him and Mothman at the same place at the same
That's a
time?
good point. Is John McAfee Mothman? Because you
He
never
could
see the
be.
same. You don't see them at the same time, do you? It's a bit like
No.
that. It's a bit like Latoya and Michael. You never saw Latoya Jackson and Michael Jackson in the same room together, did you? Know
Yeah,
were they
for
the
all we
real?
know, he
I
could
love
be. I
those.
mean, he's kind of a cryptid on his own.
Yeah,
He's
those
whack, and
kind
I
of
love it.
old crazy conspiracy theories. That was one of my favorites. When I first heard that, I'm like, come on, seriously? There's no way that that's true. It's like it is. It's
One
totally
of
true.
one of my favorite conspiracies, just because it doesn't make any sense, like in any way at all whatsoever. And I have actually come across those on my Facebook who, like, they've got tons of mutual anarchist friends. I'm like, all right, maybe they're decent. And
Hmm.
then I see them sharing shit like how every celebrity out there is secretly trans in order to make everybody attracted to their own gender on accident
Hmm.
and turn us all accidentally gay and send us all to hell off of it.
Oh God.
Like, what the fuck?
Okay, that's it. We are doing this. We
Shit.
are doing this on the fly. We're doing it on the fly. Now we're talking about crazy conspiracy theory. So I've
You
seen
should have
that.
expected that.
Yeah, no,
Let's be
I've
fair.
seen, but back when I used to frequent Facebook quite a lot, I'd seen the Facebook, that I'd seen the conspiracy theories that some female actors and some female actresses and some male actors were the opposite sex. So
Right.
I'd
I
seen.
see that a lot with like Gwen Stefani
Yeah,
because of
the
the
one
way.
I think the one that I saw the most, and that was between 2008 and obviously 2012, was that Michelle Obama was a dude.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I saw
That's
that
still
one a lot.
going.
And around about the same period, I also saw Avril Lavigne is dead, and it's her body
Avril
double that's
Lavigne.
yeah.
I've heard that about Eminem. I've never heard that about Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, I've heard that Avril Lavigne is really dead. She died, quite unfortunately, while the body double was doing something for Avril Lavigne, and because the real Avril Lavigne died while the body double was doing something, the record studio came to her and said, "Look, we need you to continue being Avril Lavigne." Until it's profitable to kill you off, and because you know what they say, dead artists make a lot more money than
Oh
alive
yeah,
artists.
yeah.
But she hadn't reached that saturation level where more people would buy the Avril Lavigne stuff. But yeah, so and there's people of photographs, and it's like, look at the different angle of the nose on this Avril Lavigne and this Avril Lavigne. This proves it, and it's like it's like it's like the
It's so
scene.
dumb.
It's like the Oliver Stone scene from Dave, where Oliver Stone is doing like an interview on a fake interview on TV, and he's talking about how the president has been switched out with a body double on TV on on CNN, and it's like if you notice,
That
if you
was
look,
like
there are these subtle
whack.
differences in the face of this. Yeah, so yeah, there are some
I know.
crazy
I mean, just
conspiracy.
to see every single one of them is like that doesn't even make any sense. And even if it was like, oh, so now you're accidentally gay, so you're gonna be sent to hell. Mwahaha. It's like you don't think you're implying you believe in a hell and a heaven. You're implying you believe in a God and a devil, whatever. Don't you think maybe God would be like, no, that's kind of fucked up. Why would I send you to hell for that? Like, honestly, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Ugh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. That one is just that's like a favorite, so to speak, just because for one, it's actually one I only learned about fairly recently, only like maybe
Okay.
like 6 months ago. Like, I mean, I heard like I knew about like I said, Gwen Stefani. There's a lot of like, no, Gwen Stefani was definitely a man, and I don't know. It's mostly the women they say used to be men. Um,
Yeah.
for the dumbest stuff, mostly because no women can get that toned in this area, and it's like, yes, they can. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, it's so absurd. It doesn't make any sense. It's so dumb. And that's another favorite of mine too, actually, again, with the celebrities. They will take like old photos and then current photos from like 10, 15, 20 years apart and go, there's no way these are the same person. The nose is different and this is different. And it's like, okay, they're celebrities. Are you telling me they didn't likely have plastic surgery or Botox or some shit? Because like they all do that, first of all. Secondly, 10, 15, 20 years can really change. I mean, you've seen my 10-year difference. People tell me all the time, there's no way that's the same person. It looks like a completely different freaking, if you look at my pictures when I'm 18, 19 years old, it's completely off from how I look now. But it's still the same damn person. Like,
Yeah, you should see photos of me from 10 years ago and photos of me now, and I look very, 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 very different.
yeah, I'm not even talking like just like weight fluctuation. I mean, there were some I was like 20 pounds, 20, 25 pounds heavier then than I am now. But I mean, just the structure, like I lost my baby cheeks, like there's, my dimples are more prominent now, just stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, because people look different as they age. That doesn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't stop for celebrities either. Like, what are you trying to say here, people? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no. You see, that's that is something that is done as like kind of like fun, because it's been used in pop culture as well. When there's a I'm trying to think there's a couple of TV shows I've seen it in where someone expresses an interest by a new character that comes into the show, and it's like, so okay, so why are we hating that? Oh, just say that she used to be a dude. So it's that is a conspiracy thing. It's I don't know, it's a legend, or what are they called, the old wives' tales? Not really conspiracy theories, obviously. The internet, when it's on the internet, it's a conspiracy theory, but when it's put in popular culture and it's put in TVs and movies, And even when it's used in real life, because you will get two guys and the new work and the new chick comes in and it's like they both like them, so it's like, okay, I want her, I don't want my friend to have her, so I'm going to start a nasty rumor that she used to be a dude so that my friend no longer likes her, and then I can,
Yeah, I used to be a victim of that actually.
Oh yeah, all right, okay.
Oh yeah, I know it all too well. Yeah, no, I mean, apparently in high school and junior high, I was either secretly a boy or, that was a lot of that. She's actually a boy stuffing her bra instead, and she, because I was very, very tomboy, very athletic. I just got along better with guys than I did girls because the girls were petty, nasty bitches, and I was not feminine, pretty, but like they were. So yeah, I got a lot of, not like men or boys asking me out or anything. Just, we were just friends. It was just bro talk. It was high fives. Hey, you want to go, shoot some hoops after school kind of shit. That's all it was. But because I was getting the attention and they weren't, that's when the rumors started. So yeah, I know I got all that kind of stupid crap growing up. So I can't help but laugh when I see these, because it's like, wow, if I ever become famous for any reason at all whatsoever, I am so going to be subject to all of those conspiracy theories.
You see, I was what is it? But during my libertarian phase, which is just over a decade ago now, and I was running in an election. I was hit up on Twitter by both a fake teenage girl and a fake teenage boy. And all I could think of was, okay, so obviously there's no dirt on me. There just wasn't any dirt on me because I was just a regular person. It's not like I'd been in the public eye, so it's not like they could pore over my public history in order to dig up some kind of dirt. No business dealings. I was just a regular person. So it's like, okay, so we need to make some stuff on. So let's hit him on Twitter in DMs with a teenage girl and a teenage boy and see if we get a bite. And I've still got them on my, I kept them. It's like I kept them for posterity.
Oh, you meant
no,
like
I kept the DMs.
Oh, I thought you meant you're still getting people messaging you like that.
No. I kept the DMs from the people in question in case I ever needed them. So I could say if it's like, oh, so you're that person that sent me that extremely inappropriate message in a DM on Twitter. So I mean, it's like, yeah, not interested. And the girl's like, oh, but yeah, I want to do, not interested. Really, really not interested. I mean, I'm reading it and I'm thinking to myself, not. And then obviously they did the teenage boy, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, no. What? Just because I turned down a teenage girl, all of it, you think, oh, he must be gay. It's like, no, I'm in a relationship with my partner, and I'm happy, and I have kids, and that's why I'm not interested. It had nothing to do with sexual preference at all.
Yeah.
I just said a naughty word.
Oh no, because it's not like I've said fuck like 8 times already.
Yeah.
Or dick.
You got weird with me because I did that. I dropped some. I said the F. I dropped some F bombs, didn't I? In a voice message.
I know you still look a little bit shocked every time I swear, and I'm like, why? Like, you should expect it by now.
Oh, if you think, hey, when I was doing my because just so everybody knows, I also stream a video game. I do a video game stream as well, and on my Twitch channel, somebody redeemed what's referred to as a Nevrage, where I switch, because I'm on a green screen, so it's just me on the screen and the burning fires of hell, raging behind me, and then somebody picks a subject that I rage about, and I just there was nobody else in the house, and someone said, rage about the game crashing, because it's one of the things that when you're streaming, if the game crashes while you're streaming, my God, is it frustrating. So somebody did that. I finished my battle and I switched the scenes and I just went to town. It's like, F this and get your F. Oh God. And everybody's like, whoa, this is. So yeah, I do go mad, but it needs to be worth it, because it has more emphasis when it has more meaning, and because I use those because I use profanity so infrequently, it kind of has more shock factor when I use it.
I never used to swear, like hardly ever. Like people used to laugh at me because I would say like gosh damn and stuff like that. And then honestly, 2020 just kind of made me say fuck it. And now I just it's everywhere. And I'm not even gonna lie, I'm hardly careful around the kids anymore. Like gosh, seriously, like the other day, what did I do? I think I spilled like boiling water on myself or something. Or I don't know, I did something that caused like a lot of pain, and I just yelled ah, fucking shit like really loud. And I just look at my kids, I'm like, don't say that, mommy said a bad word. And then I go about my day, but they know better. Oh my gosh, my kid's dad likes to freaking try to get them to swear. And it's funny. Oh, I know, it's funny because he's like, I promise you won't get in trouble though. And he'll say to my son, say this, say that. And he's just, nope. And my daughter will just relish in the moment and she will just like belt it with a big smile on her face. And it's like, wow, there's just two types of you, aren't they?
I hate it when my kids swear, and I actively
they know not to. They don't
to.
just do it. They know better, Their dad just likes to see me go, please no, and kind of like, tease a bit in that regard. He thinks that he loves also watching my son be like, nope, mommy doesn't like that. I'm not going to do it. Cause it's like, you sweet, pure little thing, but, just, oh gosh, last time, I don't remember what he said. He told my daughter to say something. I don't remember what. And, my son cut her, like before she could say anything, cut her off. And he's like, no, Luna, say hugs and puppies instead. I'm like, hugs and puppies? He was like, no, do not say it. He's like, you say hugs and puppies. You say lovely things instead. Don't say the bad words. Mommy doesn't like it.
Get her to say the line from Despicable Me. Oh my God, it's so fluffy.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, there was one time though, actually, apparently, like when his grandma was watching him, I guess for a while he thought it was okay to say some words as long as I wasn't there, and he totally felt comfortable saying it around his grandma. And to be fair, both of his grandmas say shit a lot. Okay. they do. Like, I've kind of just given up at this point. They know not to repeat it. It's just a word. It's kind of one of those pick your battle kind of things, They know not to say it out in public or even at home. But I guess at this one point, this was like a year ago, he kept walking around just saying diarrhea is always shit over and over, like chanting it. And I guess he thought I wasn't going to find out. And I'm like, why do you think your grandma wouldn't have told me? Like, he didn't get in trouble. I was like, Gabe, we don't say that. Like, that's not appropriate. But it's one of those, like, I can't be too mad because it's still kind of hilarious. So, I still laugh about it. But yeah, otherwise he knows better. I've just gotten more careless about saying it around them. But there's worse things I could be careless about.
Yeah.
So whatever. It's just a word.
No, I get it. I just regarding my kids and not being, and that's one of, I guess it's kind of just a thing, a throwback, and the fact that the other stuff, the other shows that I do are very, very PG. I mean, I'll say I'll say arse.
See, very
and I'll say the S word. I'll say shit a couple times, but it's like trying to avoid the no words. Trying to avoid F-bombs and stuff like that because I'm so used to doing PG-13 podcasts and PG-13 shows on Twitch and on YouTube, and I know I can be more risky with this.
The other day I tried to prevent myself from saying motherfucker really loud around the kids, and I legit accidentally just said mother shitter instead. Like, that's much better. Like, that's the point I've gotten to.
Yeah. I mean, even when I'm in FaceTime with my kids, and when I'm in FaceTime with my kids, if they swear, I'll just give them the look as if to say, was that absolutely necessary? And they'll instantly they'll go, oops, sorry. But it's the fact that it's like they apologize. It's like, oops, sorry. And it's just, I know that the environment that they're in isn't conducive to not swearing because they're surrounded by a lot of people that swear a lot. Yeah.
Well, that's just it. Like, growing up, I wasn't allowed to at all. Like, I would get in huge trouble for saying, like, heck as a little kid. Like, I wasn't allowed to say crap until I think I was, like, 13, 14 years old. at least, or damn, like even the lesser ones, you know. So it was just a big no. And I guess a large part of it why I just stopped caring, because my mom, she just, you know, once me and my brothers, once we were all adults, she stopped censoring herself, so she was saying it constantly. And then when we moved back down here with my kids, she just hadn't really gotten back into like censoring herself, especially when they're babies, because it's like they don't know they're babies, and it just never got back on track. And then it was like everybody was like, screw it, they're just gonna hear it. Like it's not worth the constant effort. As long as they know not to say it and they're not saying it out, you know, to other people. They don't even say it at home. There've been a couple times they've slipped, you know, but they're little kids, it's gonna happen. But I mean, it's so rare. So it's not something I really beat myself up over.
Yeah. No, I just think that there are better, more useful words out there.
There are. I'm just at the point where I'm picking my battles.
I tend to think that, you know, profanity, it loses its punch and it loses its emphasis when, because this does happen in the, you know, does happen in the UK. I mean, people that use what I refer to as industrial language all the time. It's like, you know, an F-bomb or an S-bomb, like in every single sentence, and it's like you're just being lazy, you know.
Yeah,
come up
no,
with,
I get what you mean.
you know. I mean, the amount of times I'd be in conversations with people, and every other word or every single sentence has an F or an S word in it, and I'm like, yeah, it's like, come on, you use your vocabulary, you know. Be interesting. There are words other than, oh my god, this was shit, and it's like, yeah, but I don't know what to take from that. What I mean, does what you're talking about
shit?
Is what you're talking
like,
about bad?
Shit,
is what
shit?
you
What's
think
the
of
degree
it?
Of shit?
Yeah, it's like when
Yeah.
it's like when people
The
it's like when
severity.
yeah it's like when people say you know, it's like when people say things like this COVID shit. It's and I'm like, so what is it? The COVID? What's happening because of it? Something that's happened to you? You know, it just doesn't give me any scope. It's like, so what? Exactly what? Because you've just made this massive generalized statement that every single person in the world could agree with to a very, very small degree. You know, using an S or an F word, it doesn't give the specificity to what you're saying, which is why a lot of the time it doesn't, you know, it loses its emphasis. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you stub your toe, shit, it's like,
Yeah.
it's perfect. Mwah, you know.
Funny enough, that's actually usually when I do get physically hurt, if I stub a toe real good and I hear like every single joint in its general vicinity just crack and explode.
Yeah.
That's usually when I come up with the random nonsensical words.
And like when some random person who you don't know and they don't know you on, for example, on social media says you shouldn't do that, the perfect response to that is, who the fuck do you think you are to tell me, someone you don't know, what to do? If I told you, not asked, not suggested, but told you what to do, you would tell me to go fuck myself as well. So I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself. So there are perfect times where the word has the meaning and the emphasis that you need to drive home the sentence. But just saying, you know, things like, you know, just throwing it in there, like, I had this really fucking bad day. It's like, that means nothing, you know. That really, really means nothing. I had this long day. I had this hard day. I had this grinding day. I had this, you know, unbelievably long-winded, annoying day. There are more words that can be specific as to why it was that day. You know, just throwing that word in there a lot of the time doesn't mean it. So that's why I like. Was
it you the other day? I said it's October, so we're not saying bullshit. We're saying bullshit.
Yes,
okay.
bullshit. Bullshit. Is that from a song or so? I feel that's a lyric from something. Isn't that like a what's that girl band that TLC, is it TLC?
There's no girls in bands.
Huh?
There's no girls in bands. What are you talking about?
Yes, there are girls in fans.
No, there's not.
Yes, there are. There are girls.
Like there's no women on the internet.
Spice Girls were a girl band because they used to go around and say things, like girl power, as if like a swear. Like, that means
like
nothing.
Overcompensating.
You know,
they're overcompensating. They're trying to convince you they were girls.
Secretly all men. So Posh Spice, Ginger Spice, Scary Spice, and Sporty Spice. They were all just, they weren't girls, were they?
Why do you think one was sporty?
Sporty Spice, because she wore tracksuit and tank tops all the time.
Overcompensating.
And she liked football. Ginger Spice because she had ginger hair, and Baby Spice because they dressed her literally dressed her like a little girl. I mean,
that's creepy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's just creepy.
Yeah.
Makes me think of like that. What's her name? Belle Delphine Bouchy.
Belle Delphine. I mean, I did not know that she was English until recently.
I didn't know that either. I just know she's creepy as fuck.
She is an excellent. I mean, when it comes to business, oh my god,
she's creepy as fuck. She literally dresses herself up as a child and photoshops herself to remove her boobs and shit to make her look like a child to pander to people into
to make
children.
Money. Yeah, and she sells her bathwater.
I know. Okay, you know what? The first time I heard about her was actually because of the bathwater thing. And at first I was like, well, I mean, hey, you know what? Free market. Good for her. I don't give a shit. When I learned more and more about her and the pedophile pandering, I was just like, hey, this dumb bitch can just go to hell. Like, I don't like her at all.
The trolling when she trolled the internet saying that she was going to put herself on Pornhub. I mean, it's like everybody's like, oh my god, she's going to do something. And then she never did it. And when
that was someone else. I think that was somebody else who did it, not her.
No, I could have swore that was Belle Delphine.
I'm pretty sure because I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of a different instance, but we just had.
We are talking about the cosplayer that dresses herself up like an elf, a prepubescent elf.
That doesn't narrow.
That's what she does. She does the pointy ears and.
I know so many who do that. I don't know, but no, there's a different woman who did something similar. I don't think she was a cosplayer, but she was like on OnlyFans and she did a lot of lingerie, but shoots.
Oh, right, okay. And I thought Belle Delphine does the elf thing.
Because she did something similar. She actually screwed a lot of people over. This was fairly recently, like maybe a month ago. She did essentially that. She's like, if you tip me this much or whatever, then you'll get to see full nude photos of myself. And so guys tipped her and she sent them clothed photos. And they're like, this isn't what you told us you'd be sending us nude photos. This isn't what we paid for. And she basically just kind of gave them the finger and didn't fix it. So because of that, OnlyFans changed.
Yeah, no, that was a famous person. It was someone.
I have no idea.
Yeah, no.
I never heard of this girl until
I can't remember the artist.
Incident.
I think she was a female vocalist that was already famous for singing, that did the OnlyFans because she's like, oh, I'm going to make OnlyFans mainstream. And it's like, and yeah, it did. It screwed things up for people that were, it screwed things up for patrons and content creators on OnlyFans because it screwed up the way donations could be made. It screwed up the way payments were made.
How much they could donate and stuff.
And OnlyFans had to, change a lot of things because literally thousands and thousands of people were thinking, this is an artist, someone that, just usually sings and dances and does music videos, and we don't see them naked and they're going on OnlyFans. So the assumption was that she was going to,
well, I guess she was doing like the lingerie shoots in OnlyFans already, but she flat out said she would release the nudes, and then she just didn't do it.
And then she
she just screwed people in that regard. So she lied to everybody, and because she lied to everybody, it screwed other content creators on OnlyFans over. So there
are some strange people out there that do strange things. I mean, what about the what was that? I'm not sure if she was. I think she was a Twitch thought that would send nudes to people that could prove that they had done an early vote for Joe Biden.
Oh God! Why is it always the Biden people?
Yeah. So
I literally just posted like yesterday. I get there a lot of times when I get it's like I'm fairly vocal on Twitter. It's not too uncommon for me to headbutt with people, but it's almost always Biden voting men. And they're always the ones who just go right into calling me ugly and insulting the way I look. And it's like, okay, Mr. Male Feminist, girl power. Yeah, I'm going to vote for Harris. If I was voting for Biden, you would be simping the ever-loving fuck out of me. I can go look at your likes right now, see all these women who are doing half-assed topless photo shoots, holding up their boobs and stuff with no effort going vote for Biden, and you're freaking liking and retweeting this shit. And I tell you now, if I was doing that under Biden's name, you would be all over my ass. You would be in my DMs begging me for photos and videos. I can guarantee it. God, grow some fucking standards.
Rage. Yeah, no, but I do. I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it might have been It's a Gundam. Actually, I'm pretty sure the video that I watched was by It's a Gundam because I love watching It's a Gundam. The guy's hilarious. He's so. Huh?
Who are we talking about? I couldn't hear you say the name.
It's a Gundam.
I don't know.
It's a Gundam. He's got a YouTube channel, but he's funny. Why? He's very, very funny. He's from so he's got the New York accent, you know. But yeah, he's funny and he talks. One of the things that he does, because he does satire, he does comedy and satire and stuff like that. So when he talks about Twitch thoughts, it's usually to either roast them or, you know, some juicy story from, you know, the depths of Twitch thottery, and he talks about them, and he was talking about this girl and how it may have been illegal for her to sell, you know, to basically offer nudes in exchange for people voting, and it just got me thinking, how can that be illegal? I mean, isn't that just an honest way? So he does lots of, so he does videos on and he was talking about that, and it just got me thinking, isn't selling the images a honest way to try and get people to vote the way you want? Because politicians will make promises. Vote for me, give me your vote, and I will take less money from you. Or, you know, give me your vote, and the money I take from you, I will put into X, Y, and Z. I mean, how is that any different from, you know, an attractive female saying, if you give your vote to this person, I'll send you a photograph of me with my tits out. And it's like,
I just think it's weak. It's fucking weak.
Well, yeah, but like, people,
you can just go to Google, type in titty, and you'll get a shitload of titties. Like, yeah. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. You know, why do you have to sell your? I mean, but this is what people do that play the politics game. You know, people trying to buy votes. They will offer, offer anything to get people's, you know, they will offer anything to get people's
I know that.
votes.
I'm just saying, like, if you honestly, if you honestly are going for, okay, yeah, sure, I'm going to vote just because you told me you shot for tits, like, you have no moral grounding. You have no moral standing. You have no actual fucking thought for yourself. You shouldn't even be fucking voting. I'm sorry. Your vote is bought with fucking boobs. You should not be voting. I don't think anybody should be voting, just to get that out of the way, but you especially should not be voting ever.
That's just, you know, that's just one of the many things that Twitch thottery is used for on Twitch to you know.
Look, if you want to be a sex worker, you want to be a sex worker. It's not my thing. As long as you're not hurting anybody, then I don't care. That's fine. That's your thing. Mm-hmm. But can we not be fucking cringy over it at least? Please, can we? Because here's the thing: it's not just that it's like cringy. You're doing something. I know, like anybody who's saying you vote for this, I'll do that. You know, I know you think you're doing good. You're not. Mm-hmm. Okay, you are deliberately trying to take over people's lives, and you are using your body to do so. I don't want you to speak for me and put somebody in place to make decisions for me based on what they think is best for me. Some random ass, old ass geezer who can barely form a coherent sentence. You really think I want that making decisions for me? No. You really think I want somebody whose votes are so easily bought, literally with nudes, to make decisions for me? Fuck no. Let me make my own goddamn decisions. Well, let's put it this way. I am the independent woman, right? I'm the free thinking woman. I'm the strong, don't need no man woman. So maybe let's not get weak ass men bought with tits making decisions for me. So I can go ahead and continue being that strong, independent woman. All right, fuck off. Bottom line, fucking swear.
You're not a
Look what
strong.
you did.
You're not. You're not. You're not a
Got
strong
me in a
independent
tizzy.
woman unless you're the right kind of strong independent woman.
Don't I know it?
You need to be the right kind of strong independent woman.
Yeah, because just living, just not using any form of government aid or anything, and making money on my own hustles and raising my own kids, all that shit. No, that's not strong and independent. But begging for government aid constantly sure is.
Oh, yeah, that was a punch to the DICK. That.
It's been a week, right? We're getting closer and closer to election time, and it's put me more and more on edges more and more. I'm already freaking sick of it. I've been.
Oh
sick
God,
of it.
yeah. I mean, I remember 4 years ago, people went absolutely bonkers. I mean, I'm watching it and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, what are you people doing?
I distinctly remember an extra large rum and coke in my hand for that.
I mean, I remember at the start of the day. I mean, I was at work, and everybody was listening to the radio, and everybody was listening to, well, not the radio. Most people were listening to, a radio app on their phones, because when you're in a steel factory, it's very, very loud, and there's just no way that you could play radio over speakers. That's it.
Yeah.
There's a siren for a fire alarm, and that's it. And when you're at the back end, you couldn't even hear the fire alarm. So most people at their workstation would listen to the radio. And I just remember walking around and everyone's like, oh, so who do you think's going to win? Who do you think's going to win the election then? And before the voting had even started, I'm like, oh, it's going to be Trump. It's going to be Trump. It's going to be Trump. It's not going to be. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because she's not a particularly liked person,
Actually,
she's not a liked person, so he's going to win, And he's. I mean, I had friends who were like, who because I said he was going to win, and because I said that she wasn't particularly nice, were saying, oh, so you support Trump? It's like, no, I don't support either of them. I'm just telling you.
I figured Trump would win too, just because, for a couple of reasons, like you said, nobody likes Hillary. That was the only reason, really, like when George W. Bush won the second term. It wasn't because everybody loved and worshipped Bush. It was because nobody really liked John Kerry. Like any Democrat I spoke to, like, no, I just don't like John Kerry, like that's all it was. So with Hillary, I mean, but that was another thing that just made me just want to ram my damn head into the wall, is how many people I saw who openly was saying how terrible, just like now, and they're all saying, oh, Hillary is a terrible choice. Hillary is this and this. She's corrupt. She's evil. Look at all this. Look at all that. Even getting into the conspiracy theories about her freaking death count and shit.
Oh yeah, her death count. That's an awesome.
As she was the actual nominee and Trump was, then it was, oh, I stand with her. She's a hero to all women. She's a role model for little girls. Fuck off. Just yesterday you were saying that she's an evil bitch, and now you're over here worshiping the ground she walks on. Are you fucking kidding me? Again, no moral standing. No fucking moral standing. And why you shouldn't be fucking voting.
And people do just tend to go, a little bit, woohoo. When it comes time, they really, really do when it comes time for elections. And, people will say and do anything. And it just, I mean, I thought that 2000, I mean, I do, I remember, 2000, the 2016 election. And I thought that was absolutely nuts. The way that people were behaving and the way that people were conducting themselves, and I'm thinking to myself, you're just calm down, stop going off the deep end. It really isn't as all you're saying. I mean, be logical about it, and that's why I remember, because I did post stuff on Facebook saying, well, she's this and he's this, and then people would be like, So you support them? It's like, no, I just told you in a post what the worst qualities are of both of these candidates. That's not me supporting one or the other. I'm simply pointing out to you what the bad qualities of these two individuals are. But because they had a preference, one or the other, it was the fact that, even though I did not hold either candidate in particular high esteem, because I had pointed out and highlighted bad flaws, bad characteristics in the person that they thought was a good person, I must instantly automatically support the other. And it's like, I didn't say that. I've still, I can go back to those posts 2016. I mean, I have, friends. There were people who I was friends with for 20 plus years, 25, maybe even 30 years. In some cases, people that I'd known since primary school, who had taken hook, line, and sinker exactly what the legacy media. I don't think of them as the mainstream media now. I think legacy media is more appropriate, because we all get our media in different ways, and turning on a TV and picking a channel to watch the news, that is the old way of getting your news. And that's why I think of it as that's the legacy media, because that's the way it's happened. And now most people flip on the internet or they open their phone. And that's the new way to get your media, the new way to get your news. But yeah, there are some literally. The thing is that they're not friends. I mean, I would still class them as friends, because if they engaged and spoke with me, I would still be friendly, and I still have that history with them. But because I have not engaged with them for 2, 3, maybe 3 years. Some of them go back as 3 years. It's like, even though I did nothing to them, I didn't insult them, I didn't say anything bad, nothing. I said nothing. But because I was critical of a person or a political ideology that they held, it was like, that's it. And here's the crazy thing is, because we've had this discussion before about, it goes in swings. Sometimes it's the left that's crazier than the right, and sometimes it's the right that's crazier than the left. During the 2000s, during the early and the mid 2000s, when it was the right that was being crazier than the left and doing the dumb, stupid war stuff, it was like, so I was critical of them. So my friends, were happy to listen to me trash that side. And then it slowly crept, and then it, the 2008 went past, and then 2010, and then 2012 hit, and then 13, and then 14, and then 15, and then it just went nuts. And it's like, okay, we've swung back the other direction now. Now I'm going to be more critical of this side, because they're the ones to, the right are just sitting back and going, let's just let them go nuts. Just let them go nuts. Let's just.
That's what people ask me about that too. Like, well, you mostly talk about this side, not the other side. And it's like, well, yeah, because I think the most Trump supporters I've ever had on my Facebook, for instance, at any given point was maybe like 3. Like, that's it. Everyone else was hardcore Democrat, with a couple of other somewhere voluntarist or whatever people, scattered about. Otherwise, the vast majority of my Facebook people were Democrats, voting Democrat. And I'm like, well, yeah, because if I'm just sitting here saying, here's why Trump is bad all day long, you guys are already sharing that constantly. You guys know all the reasons why he's bad and everything. It's kind of just preaching to the choir at that point. However, when I'm seeing these same people sharing how great Hillary is, how great Obama is, et cetera, it's like, no, you guys need to be corrected on this. So I'm going to be sharing information based on what you people need to see, not what's just easily spreadable, but because you guys are living a false narrative here. You guys put this person on a pedestal that's completely undeserved, and you need to see it for what it is. That's why. It doesn't mean I'm pro either side. It just means this is what I'm surrounded by,
Yeah, I mean, for me, a lot of for me, especially regarding Hillary, it was a lot of projection for me. Mm-hmm. It was projecting on her a lot of the bad things that Obama had done. Because one of the big things for me was during that time period was protesting David Cameron, who was the Conservative Prime Minister, and Obama, who was the Democrat president's use of drone strikes, and the unnecessary collateral damage that using that, using drone strikes was causing, throughout the Middle East, because it was just absolutely atrocious. Now, Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State, so she would have been getting this data and this information before it got back to him. So for me, a lot of it was projecting onto her because she was a Secretary of State. For him, all of the bad stuff that nobody ever called him on for doing, but it's like, she was, for all intents purposes, his number two. Like in the UK, you've got the Prime Minister, and then you have a Deputy Prime Minister, and then you have a Home Secretary. Now, sometimes it's the Home Secretary that gets classed as the number two, and sometimes it's the Deputy Prime Minister. Most of the time, when it's the Conservatives, it's the Home Secretary that they effectively become the number two. But in the United States, it's the Secretary of State, one of the Secretary of States, and it was Clinton. So trying to point out, it's like, especially during that 2016 period when everybody was going nuts, it's like, look, just let the red mist descend and let cooler heads prevail. Now, what has she done, and what has he done? Now, because he hasn't done anything, because this is the first time he's ever running for public office, ever, he has no public office record to attack. So the people who don't like him need to make stuff up. Okay? When instead of listening to the stuff that is being made up, and that's what people were going nuts over the stuff that was being made up about him, instead of just simply looking at his policies and going, right, well, what is in this policy that can be attacked? And he had the whole build a wall. We're going to build a wall and Mexico's going to pay for it. And during this time, and everybody's like, oh, well, forget the policy, forget how bad that policy is, forget how flawed that policy is. He said this thing that was taken out of context, and then 27 newspapers ran that headline, and you're like, but that's not the story. That isn't the story that he wants to spend billions making a wall from the ground up, but doing nothing about the ground down. If there's a wall in front of you and you want to get from that side of the wall to the other side of the wall and you can no longer go over it, it's like, well, I'll just dig under it. I'll make a tunnel. And it's like, right, okay. So you don't see a problem in wasting billions and billions and billions of dollars of other people's money to make something that isn't going to stop people from getting from one side to the other. And yeah. I know people make the argument, it's like, oh, well, yeah, but don't you have, isn't your house built with walls? And it's like, well, yeah, but there's also a concrete foundation under. They can't dig under the wall to get into the house because there's concrete from the ground down.
It's not like people are trying to bust into your house from underground anyway. So like, how is that even
exactly?
Like
people are just gonna, it's a different type of wall. So it's like, so trying to argue that, so I was legitimately saying, so why don't you argue this? If you really don't want like that person, instead of going bonkers and crazy and saying, oh, he said this racist thing about Mexicans, it's like, no, he was referring to a UN report regarding coyotes and people that traffic people from Mexico into the United States, and how a large percentage of the people getting picked up are criminals that are doing horrible, foul, evil things to the women that are being trafficked across that border. That's what he was referring to. Instead, you allow the media to blow that up, and then your narrative is dictated to you, when you could just simply say to people, he wants to waste all of our money building something that is going to be functionally redundant, instead of just building a see-through fence so you can see the people approaching, and you've got 1,000,001 cameras pointing at it. Oh, we can see these people, they're trying to get instead of building something that people have to, dig under. Make it easy for them to approach it and climb over it, but make them, but it slows them down sufficiently enough that you can do something about it. And I would, I would argue that against people who were Trump supporters. And they'd be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right. That is a flawed policy. And I wasn't trying to convince people. I was just trying to engage with them and say, look, the person that you support has flawed policies. So why you know, but it turns into this shouting match because everybody's going crazy based on stuff that's made up. And then you've got Hillary Clinton on the other side, who's been in public office for years and has made thousands of public statements, a lot of them contradictory.
Yeah.
And it's like, so she's easy to dislike, she's easy to criticize,
Right.
but it's like, oh, that's not true. It's like, there's a recording of her on YouTube saying that. Oh, but yeah, but he's done. It's like there's nothing. There is no public policy from him. You know, he's never run for office before. This is the first time he's ever run for office. So there's no public record. But what about this? What about that? It's like, well, you know, he's this. This person's criticized him for that, and it's like, really? Because that same person that criticized him for being that stood next to him 4 years ago and accepted an award from the exact same organization for doing the exact same thing, and they smiled and held hands and shook hands and put their arms around each other and had photographs. But what now? All of a sudden, he's the complete opposite. It's like, pick your pick your fights. And the problem is, in the run up to an election, you know, rolling it back, people don't pick their fights. They just seem to go crazy, and it's just nuts. And it's complete.
I feel like the only thing really objectively worse than putting either side on a pedestal, acting like they're going to save us all or whatever. Because, I mean, it's pretty bad, you know. Trump supporters often, I mean, I can't tell you how many freaking photoshopped images of Trump I've seen as like an angel, as a prophet, etc. It's like, that is just, I'm sorry, as a Christian, that's disgusting.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay?
The right
And,
means
I mean,
so
we're
hard.
still getting that, and on the left, you know, we got people who were screaming ACAB 3 weeks ago now going on to how they want freaking Kamala Harris in office, and it's like, the actual prosecutor, are you kidding me? But she's a woman, and she's exactly what little girls need to see. No, I'm sorry, I'm not raising my daughter to be a fucking bitch, okay? I am raising my little girl. My little girl wants to be a doula, okay? My little girl wants to help little babies and mommies be comfortable and have happy birth stories, and she wants to make them all just, you know, loved. She wants to make them all feel loved, because that's who my daughter is. My daughter is love. My daughter is not freaking setting up traps to separate children from parents and deport the parents. Okay? That's not my little girl. My little girl doesn't need that pathetic excuse of a role model. Okay? And I'm sorry. You might want to question your parenting if that is who you're telling your daughter to look up to. There's nobody else in your personal life, somebody more moral, somebody more caring, more ethical in your personal life that maybe you would want your daughter to look up to. You're going to fucking Kamala Harris? Are you kidding me? That's not fucking parenting. God. But anyway, what I was saying is the fact that, I don't know, people seem to like her better than they like Biden.
Yeah.
And again, we've had Biden in, you know, as vice president for 2 terms. We get the basic gist of who he is, except now he's also like senile or something. You know, now it's more of it's like a health concern at this point. All these things are popping up about various racist and completely inappropriate comments he has made in the past while working in office. The fact that he's been in office, in government in general. The fact that he's been in government in general for 49 years, I think currently, and nothing has really gotten better. All these false promises, you know, I mean, it's easy to dislike him. But the fact that I'm literally seeing stickers that say, fine, I'll vote for Biden, but this is bullshit. I'm literally seeing people like, wow, no, both options are absolutely atrocious. This is disgusting, but I'm still going to partake in it. This might honestly be objectively worse, because it's like, how bad is it going to get before you stop and go, you know what? Things need to change. This is not working. This has been objectively progressing worse and worse. It's not getting better. We just had the Democrats in office before Trump for 8 years. And nothing really got better. The wars continued, the debt increased, more people were deported than any other president had deported people, you know, in history. Like the amount of people that Obama deported was a greater number than any other president any other president had deported in history, okay? All the missed drone strikes, I believe Obama's targets were 98% missed. 98% of his drone strikes were missed targets, killing innocent people instead. I dare you to tell me this is progress. And people got so sick of that shit that they voted for Trump because they didn't want Hillary, because that was really potentially the only way it could have gotten worse if we had Democrats in control longer. So now, what's it going to take for you people to stop and go, you know what? Yeah, this isn't getting any better. This needs to change. The two-party, not just the two-party system, okay? I mean, we have more than just two parties. People just don't want to pay attention because it's just ironic. Oh yeah, we need to destroy the two-party system. Well, you're not voting third party. How can you sit there and say you want the two-party system gone, done away with, while still partaking in it and saying, well, a vote for this third party is a vote for Trump. A vote for this third party is a vote for Biden. Bullshit. Also, why do you seem to think that any third party vote is a vote for the enemy? If you honestly believe that's the case, then doesn't democracy that you keep claiming to be saving say that we want who you consider to be the enemy? So aren't you actually fighting against democracy? But yeah, anyway, it just doesn't make any sense. None of it makes sense. It's all just talk. I support this. I support that. I want to see change. I want to see progress, but no one is actually doing anything to be part of the progress. No one's actually doing anything to get these people out of office. They're still campaigning. They're still donating. They're still buying the merch. They're still doing their dumbass little videos on TikTok, and they're still bribing people with their fucking tits. But somehow y'all are going to destroy the two-party system like that. Yeah, okay. Big shots over here. God. I hate election season. This is like what just sits constantly during this time of year.
Yeah, it goes crazy, you know, and then it all calms down. You know, it just kind of like mellows out, and then
I'm looking forward to that.
And then 100 days later, you know, it all goes. I mean, here's the thing: when you know, once this election's over, and Trump gets re-elected, which I think will happen, at least the next 4 years will be a lot calmer, because instead of attacking him and attacking the GOP, the left, and the right doing the same on the left, it's going to be more about the next 4 years them building up some, you know, mythical character, you know, in their eyes, on their side, you know, that's going to go toe to toe against each other 4 years from now. So
they need their Harry Potter to kill Voldemort. I hate millennials. I say as a raging millennial.
Hey, don't be going after Harry Potter. You know, I like.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just saying that's what they do. Those are the comparisons I see. They freaking. I'm Harry Potter. I'm Hermione in the battle. No, you're fucking not. You're sitting there. That's what I was in a tizzy over. That's what it was. It was the changing languages and words to be more gender neutral when they were a gender neutral term in the first place. Because people don't actually want to pick a battle that fucking matters. They want to pick one that's easy to do. All they have to do is change one goddamn letter on a keyboard and they go, I'm a hero. No, you're fucking not. You're a lazy piece of shit. But anyway, but like, folks, apparently it's a thing to put an X at the end of folks, like FOLX, because somehow that's more gender inclusive.
Yeah, no, that's that right? Yeah, that's that 1% of 1%. Remember, we talked about that's the 1% of the 1% on social media that think that say stuff like that. Well, that's the thing.
It's on social media. We were talking about how like certain things we're seeing some of that happen more so in corporations versus those who are like we're actually seeing actual people doing it. So like I was talking about the like how do you know? I don't even know how you're supposed to say it. The Latin with an X at the end. I've only seen businesses do that. Okay. I've seen Sephora do it. I think it was Cartoon Network. Wait, no, maybe it was Nickelodeon. It was either Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon. I don't remember which one, but it was one of those. They did that recently. a lot of makeup brands and stores and stuff, they've all been putting it that way. And every single time I see it, the comment section is full of knock this shit off. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't work with our language. And it's hysterical watching these angry white people saying this is what we need to do with this language to non-gender. Well, aren't you essentially whitewashing it when you're doing that? So isn't that like racism in its own? Thank you. Okay. But then, so I see that in the corporations, but no actual, like, very rare. I mean, a couple of times with a super hardcore commie, whatever, on Twitter, but in general, I don't see people use that normally. Do see people using the folks thing, though. I've never seen businesses do that, but that's what my friend was saying, is that he said folks in some Facebook group or something, and he just said it like the normal spelling, and he had a bunch of comments of people trying to correct him, telling him he needed to use the X. And he's like, and he asked, how is this more gender inclusive? Nobody answered. Nobody had an answer on how that's more gender inclusive, because it's not. It's just not. You know, and like, it's not an actual battle to them. It's just making them feel good. I'm a hero for this demographic that needs a voice, but I'm going to choose the absolute laziest, easiest fucking thing to do and change one goddamn letter. Well, I guess two. And you're switching out the, actually, wait. Yeah, you're switching out the KS. I think you still add the L in there. You switch out the KS and you replace it with an X. It's that's all it is. That's all it is. But it makes them feel good about themselves. It's I hate using this term because people throw it around so much, but it is virtue signaling. It doesn't matter. It doesn't do any good for anybody, but it makes them feel good. That's all it is. It's not really about helping those demographics. If you wanted to help all these demographics, you would be listening to everybody, forming an opinion. I couldn't hear you very well.
Go.
I just get sick of how many people act like, you know, they're on this high horse. They act like they're doing the world good, and they're really just not doing anything. It's no different than those who say, yeah, I want to see increased taxes to fund this and go towards this because nobody should be without this and that. And meanwhile, they could just be donating to people. They could be doing charity work. They'll sit there and say, I will happily pay an extra $30 a year to fund this and that. Okay, then fucking do it.
Yeah.
Fucking do it. Why are you waiting for everybody else? I'm not going to do it until everyone else does. That is what you sound like when you just aren't doing it otherwise. It's childish. It's not love. It's not care. It's not love and care to want all these people to make choices for me. I'm an adult. Are you an adult? If you're an adult, take care of your own fucking stuff. I piss off people downtown with that because I'll go downtown and it's full of petitioners and they're, are you registered to vote? Will you vote for blah, 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 blah? I've seen full on like Bernie Sanders buses and like campaigns and shit down there. You know, it's Commeyville. And I pissed off a couple of people real good because the guy was trying to get me to freaking vote for Bernie. And I was like, and I said, I can make my own decisions like an adult. I suggest you start doing the same. And he followed me, screaming obscenities at me for that. Because it's not about love. It's not about the individual choice. It's not about what we need as people. It's not about me being a strong, independent woman. Because if it was, he would go, okay, you know what? That's your belief. I respect it. And leave me alone. No, he followed me, screaming obscenities at me. Like, they're just full of shit. They're all just full of shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't want any of you voting on me. Bottom line.
Yeah. I mean, that you know, there'll be a lot of virtue signaling in the run up to the election, and there'll be a lot of people. There'll be a lot of soft bigotry. I don't think
to ram my head into the wall.
Yeah,
for sure.
I try and move away from using the R word, referring to people as so by say so someone says something that's obviously that it is at its essence racist, but it's like, well, hang on a minute, they're using their racism, or they think that they're using their racism for the greater good. So obviously you've got racists that are just racists and then not particularly nasty people, and they're racist because they don't like somebody. And then there's the a similar ilk, but I wouldn't think of it as racism, more as soft bigotry. And I think of it as more like soft bigotry. It's like, oh, we need to do, we as a race need to do X for this race, and it's like that's
that's
a little bit
racism because that is what they would call it if it was anybody else.
Yeah.
If it was someone else doing it to them, they would be screaming racist. So that's why I'm like, well, isn't this by your definition racism? Isn't this by your definition whitewashing? Isn't this by your definition cultural appropriation? It doesn't work if, it counts, everybody's doing it. It doesn't work if only the people you don't like. It's not racist if it's only the people you don't like doing it. It's racist if you do it too, so that's why I say it, because it's like,
because the thing is, the problem with throwing it back and saying by your definition, it's not by their definition, it's by our definition. By our definition, they are being racist. By their definition, they're not, which is why it's just easier to use a term that they haven't redefined. Which is why I use the term. Which is why I use.
They've redefined all of them.
Exactly.
They've redefined bigotry.
Which is why I use soft bigotry, and then I explained. So you want to do X or Y? Don't you? Isn't that just soft bigotry because you don't think that Y can do it on their own? Now, there's no need for you to say it. There's no need for you to be expressive of it. And it's like, and they're like, yeah, but what about what about the poor kids over here? That can't afford to, and it's like, hey, you've hit the nail on the head there. Poor kids over there. It's not about their race, it's about their class. Now, if you want to donate to a scholarship that helps underprivileged kids, kids that cannot afford that type of education or that type of schooling, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But what you're not doing is saying you're not being specific. You're saying everybody needs to do, everybody that's in group A needs to do things for group B. And it's like, no, there are subsets to group B that everybody would agree with you needs assistance. And that's what you should, that's where you should hang your hat. That's the hill that you should die on, not, oh, everybody's racist because they won't help this group do this. And, I'm going to shout from the rafters. So that's what I mean by, the whole soft bigotry thing. Because when we say, when we as people who aren't left or right say by our definition, you've just said something, and by your definition, you are being racist. Is that we need to be more accurate with our language. It's like by our definition.
That accurate, the language is so, it's like what I said. Nope, I said it not long ago. No one can seem to agree what liberal means anymore. No one can seem to agree what capitalism means anymore. And I get people say, well, that's why you use the core words and the definition of the words, like the actual dictionary definition. I'm like, okay, I've tried that so many goddamn times. Copy paste, here it fucking is. And they go, well, that's not what it means anymore. It's now shifted into this. No, it's shifted into that. That's the old definition and it needs to be updated.
God,
hell, they were just working on getting the definition of racism to be completely changed in the dictionary. It literally doesn't mean anything to them anymore.
They did sexual preference they redefined the term sexual preference in real time in a day during the during the ACB.
I was going to say, just so they can try to make ACB look bad.
So somebody tweeted that the term sexual preference, which had been used by the LGBTQ community a week and a half ago on Twitter, when people throw up examples. So one person comes out and says the term sexual preference is offensive. A bunch of people retweeted it, and then a bunch of people started tweeting that. A US senator then took those tweets and said, you can't use this term because it's offensive and you've used it. And then the media then picked up what that senator said.
Never mind all the many times Biden has used it.
Yeah, and then 30 minutes later, Webster's dictionary changed the definition and added, before they changed it, there were 4 definitions for the term, and they added a 5th in parentheses, offensive. And that was literally all done in real time within the space of a few hours online. A dictionary listened to, people. One person did it on Twitter, then a handful of people did it on Twitter. A senator picks up on it, the media picks up on what the senator says, and then the dictionary people come in and go, let's just add it as a definition. And it's like, that was literally done within hours.
Because one damn person decided, but there's multiple screenshots of like Biden saying it, all these other Democratic speakers using the term sexual preference. And they can't control what they're attracted to. I can't control what I like on my damn burger either, but it's still a preference.
Yeah. And they were they're conflating they were conflating orientation with
what do people gain out of all this victimization?
And that's just it. It doesn't make sense, because there were two different ways. There is orientation, and then there is preference. Now, the sexual orientation part is that's not the choice. A person knows within themselves, whether they're male or female, what their orientation is.
Yeah.
That's not the thing that's made by choice. That's just who they are. That's who a person is. They know, and they don't choose what their orientation is. That's who they are. Their preference is then the person that they prefer. And that is the choice. So the preference is the choice. The orientation isn't. And they're trying to that they were basically during that day trying to conflate the two. It's like preference isn't a choice. It's like, no. Preference is the choice. The orientation part isn't, And then you had people coming out saying, but a lesbian with a penis can like either men or women, and it's like, well, yeah, that's fine, but then and then a bunch of other people, the 1% of the 1% of the 1% on social media that think that they represent 100% of the people that they're speaking on behalf of, throw things, and this would not be happening were it not this. This election phase, were we not in some kind of an election phase? I mean, if this confirmation hearing were occurring 12 months ago, it would be a lot more bonkers than it is right now. But the Democrats don't want to seem like they're being too bonkers, because that can. Oh, I just saw the rat climb up the side and then.
Yeah, you just knocked over my drink. What the hell, Birdsey? It was rude. Oh, don't you? No, I don't have a treat on. You're being rude. Yeah, maybe you change your attitude. I'll give you a reason. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, so the redefining of words is just and now it's being done in real time. It's
so ironic to me how many people are calling themselves these strong, independent. I'm Princess Leia. I'm part of the resistance. I'm blah blah blah, and then they get offended over every goddamn word in the fucking dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
It's how are you so strong and independent if you are constantly trying to change the world around you to make your life more cush and comfortable, to cradle you? Honestly. I'm so beyond sick of this. Like, this is, and then, women will go on about how they're constantly degraded. I'm being mansplained to. I'm being treated like I don't know better. I'm being treated like I'm not capable. And I get that a lot too. There's plenty of times when, I'll say something and, various men will come in and be like, oh, well, you really should consider blah, 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 because I don't know if you've looked into this, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, trust me, I know. Like, I really didn't need all of that. Thank you. And it's not like I find it offensive. It's just kind of like, just because I'm female doesn't mean I haven't taken the time to figure this out. But unfortunately, it's a lot of these other women who they just expect everybody else to keep them comfortable and cush and happy. And so then a lot of men think that's what they have to talk to women. And then it gets pushed on me as well. And it's like, if you want women to appear strong and capable, maybe fucking act like it.
Yeah.
Maybe stop acting like a fucking toddler every time you don't get your goddamn way. Because that's how it is, especially, gosh, there's another screaming video. Like, I don't know if you saw it yet. This woman, her face is like right in the screen. And she's just screaming, Republicans, you are the people history warned us about, and you are a danger to democracy. And she shrieks, wake up, like at the top of her lungs. Her face is shaking. Her eyes are bulging out. It's like, this isn't strong and independent. This is a child mentality. This is a bratty little kid who has ever been told in their life, or told no in their life. This is a little kid that you go to the store, hey, come on, can I buy some gum? No, not today. And they start throwing shit off the shelves. That is what this is. And so when this is what we're seeing all over media, this is what the norm has become for women, especially like in my age range. This is how people think I'm going to react. This is how people are going to think, even if you know, other women, maybe you don't act like this, and that's great. I know most don't, but that's pretty much what's expected at this point, because this is what we keep getting seen spread everywhere. It's not strength. It's absolutely not strength.
You're not.
It's not independent.
You can't lay claim to being a strong person if you're going to flip out every time someone says something and you immediately take offense to it. You know, in the real world, people are going to say things that you may, not necessarily all the time, but you may take offense to it. And the way that you react to taking offense to something determines how thick or thin-skinned you are. Now, the thicker skin you are, the stronger you are mentally. The thinner skin you are, the weaker minded you are. So if you take offense to everything that is said and you freak out in that way, you can't say I'm a strong person. It's like, no, well, your reaction to everything says the complete opposite of that.
It's not mature. It's not a mature reaction. It's a baby reaction. It is a childlike reaction, and that is not strength. That just shows that you're not capable of processing the information around you as to what it really is. When you're screaming and screaming, throwing a fit because you didn't get your way like a damn baby, I'm going to look at you and go, wow, you're really not somebody I want making decisions for me. You're not somebody I want to take seriously in any regard, because I'm just seeing a spoiled brat. I'm not seeing somebody going, this is what I think is best for everybody. Please hear me out. Here's my rational opinion. I'm seeing, no, I want this, and kicking and screaming and stomping your feet. I'm seeing want versus need. That's what I'm seeing. This is not I'm rational and I understand this is a need I have and what other women, etc., need. I'm seeing this is what I want, because if I don't get it, it's going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Which one am I going to want to take more seriously? The one who actually understands the needs and can rationally express that, not the one who just didn't get what she wanted, who just didn't get her way. But what do I know, right? I'm the crazy anarchist. What do I know?
Well, I think we've had a wonderful conversation. See, we can wing it. We know how to wing it, because that's what today's been. Today's been just us winging it. So let's wrap things up. And what have you got going on? Because you recorded a podcast recently. Where can people go where can people go to see those? Because they're going to be up soon, aren't they?
One actually just got released just a few minutes before we started recording here, and it is on RLYL Chit's podcast. They are on Spotify and other systems, and YouTube as well. If you go to YouTube, you will see my latest recipe release for under Cryptid Bartender. And brand spanking new recipe. All meant for like Halloween and everything. They actually made the recipe on camera and tried it out, and it went over pretty well. We discussed some spooky paranormal stories and whatnot. So it was a fun episode to do for sure. And 2 days after that, I recorded another one for Cryptid Campfire. That one's kind of been in the works for a while, and it finally got recorded, but that one is not going to be released until October 30th, which is also when, because I've had a bunch of people asking, I am releasing a Halloween themed cocktail myself. I posted about it yesterday. I said I made a flaming cocktail, and people were like, well, give us the recipe. Let us see a photo. That's not what I do. You got to wait till October 30th. So on October 30th, you'll get to see that on my Cryptid Bartender social media, and you'll get to hear my Cryptid Campfire podcast interview.
Excellent.
So, yeah,
and we
I'm
are
also
looking to
writing
get a
my
guest
thing
on.
right now.
We are looking to get a guest on before the end of the month as well, aren't we?
Working on it. I've got
We're
someone in the
working on
talks right now. We're working on it. I've also got an Etsy sale going on right now until 21st, I think. So
Okay, well,
if
that
you only
is
need
something that
discount
we
dick
will.
lamps.
That is something that we will put in the
Yeah, I'll put it in
video.
there. I'm just saying right now is a sale. So anybody
Yeah.
listening, it's going right
Anybody
now.
listening, follow the link, follow the Etsy shop link that we will put in the video description below. It won't just be.
Maybe I'll make up
blurb
some
from me.
Mothman shirts and stick it up on there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay. So apart from that, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, whether you're watching or listening.
Thank you for listening to my tizzies.
Yeah, don't forget to hit the like and hit the subscribe. We want to get our subscriber numbers up. I'd love our subscribers to be up around the follows that we get on social media, whether it's on Facebook or whether it's on Twitter. So tell your friends about us. Go get us subbed, because we've said this before. If we get above 1,000 subs, we'll do this live. Okay, and if we're doing this live, then there's a chat there, and you'll be able to ask us questions and stuff.
Roast me.
Yeah, you can roast her, and try and get me to say things that I'm not particularly that comfortable saying, but that's super chat. But that's down the line. But yeah, you get us to 1,000 subs, we can go live. We can do this live. So yeah, hit the like, hit the subscribe.
You get to see me flailing my hands in frustration in real time.
Get to see us in real time. Follow the Etsy link that we will throw in below, so that you can go and see all of the merch that Harley puts up on her Etsy channel. And you lovely people out there in YouTube and podcast land, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.